In case you're new here, I'm Heather, and this is Bill. We've been exploring places in Greece that are off the beaten path. After having a gold medal time in Olympia, we headed north toward the sanctuary of Delphi. Toll roads are a beautiful, wondrous thing in Greece. With this bridge, we are officially departing the Peloponnese and entering central Greece.
After a week and a half.
Good morning, welcome to Delphi. Last night we stayed in Arachova. We're pretty sure we know how to pronounce this one. A little bit of a late start, which is a story we're going to have to fill you in on later. But for now, we are at the entrance to Delphi. Now you might be wondering, what are we doing at our third ancient ruins in a row? And we're kind of wondering that too. But we are really curious to see how this one contrasts to the other two that we've been to. We hear that the stadium is spectacular, and the function of these ancient ruins is very different than that of the other two that we visited. So come along and
we'll see what the Oracle has in store for us.
You want to buy tickets?
Behind me is the entrance to the Temple of Apollo. This was the main site of this sanctuary. This is where hundreds, maybe thousands of pilgrims came and ended their journey through entering the Temple of Apollo in order to consult with the Oracle. One of Apollo's priestesses served as the Oracle, and he spoke through her to tell the future. People traveled from near and far to speak to her, and no major decisions were made without consulting her.
This here is the forum, and pilgrims who would be coming into the Delphi site would buy, in these various shops behind me, would buy trinkets and offerings for Apollo.
According to mythical tradition, Zeus wanted to mark the center of the world. In order to do that, he threw two eagles into the air, and the point at which the eagles met is where he threw a stone down to the world to mark the center. And that spot is notated by the cone cylinder stone that's behind.
Behind me here is a retaining wall that is 2,500 years old, and because of its construction, they used no mortar holding all the rocks together. It has survived numerous earthquakes that have leveled all the other buildings here and elsewhere in Greece. Very impressive. It's as high as I think 12 feet in places, and looks very intact. We are here at the Theater of Apollo. Unlike some of the other theaters that we've been to, where they were used for political gatherings or theater performances, this was actually used for music primarily, and a kind of song contest to honor Apollo. It's very much like what we see on TV today.
Behind me is the stadium at Delphi. This is where their games took place, similar to those that took place at Olympia. In fact, they even took place here every 4 years, just like Olympia. These were second in terms of prestige level to those that took place in Olympia, but wow, this stadium is impressive. The seating seats 4,000 or 5,000 people, so smaller than Olympia, but much more comfortable because everybody had chairs, unlike the grassy knolls that we saw at Olympia. Climbing up into the mountain to see this one in its spectacular setting and seeing all of the stadium seating that's here is incredibly impressive.
We don't know how old they are, but we just found these baby kittens behind the ticket office.
Oh, look at it.
They can't walk. They must be very, very young. So we just wrapped up the main site of Delphi, excuse me. It's about 2 in the afternoon. The heat of day has struck, and we're gonna go get some lunch and cool off a little bit. There's also the Archaeological Museum, which we're gonna check out after lunch, and then there's some parts of the site where you don't actually have to have a ticket to get into, so we're gonna see about those as well. Just wrapped up Delphi, and it took us about 2 hours. We got a late start on the day, so it got a little bit hot, so we ran out of steam. I spent a little bit of time in the museum afterwards, which was air conditioned, which is very nice on a hot day. I would say if you do go here to Delphi, you, like us, got a slow start on the day. Actually, going in midday, if it's not too hot, is a good way to go. It seems like most of the day tripper tour buses from Athens, they clear out around lunchtime, they go into town, and you would pretty much have the site all to yourself.
We also need to give a shoe report because that has turned into a thing for us. And here we can report that although you have to climb a lot of stairs, everything is pretty even and it's not particularly dangerous or anything. So I did see people in flip-flops. They seemed to be having no problem. It wasn't slippery. We wore our hiking shoes today and we were comfortable with those. But really, I think this is a place that any shoe would do. You climb about 700 feet, so wear something that you're comfortable with. Bill is passed out somewhere, so he's not in the shot. We really enjoyed our time here. The setting is absolutely spectacular. And now we've been to 4 different ruins that we can make a recommendation to you for which one you should go to. You may recall we started at Epidavros, and Epidavros has the most magnificent theater out of all the ones that we've seen. It's the one we enjoyed the most because of being able to test the echo from being down in the orchestra area. So if you're looking for a theater with great acoustics, that would be the one that we'd recommend that you'd go to. If you're looking for one that's a little bit off the beaten path where you might be only one of a dozen people who are there, then Messene is the one that you want to go to. And if you're interested in going to the ruins that are most culturally significant and relevant to today, then Olympia would be a great choice for you. And if you love getting up into the mountains and visiting mountain towns, then Delphi would be the option for you. Any of them would be great in terms of the ruins that you're able to see. All of them have amazing properties and fantastic history to them. So you really can't go wrong with any of them, but those are the ones we'd recommend for certain things that you might be interested in.
So we're heading off now to go to Arachova, which is the town that we're staying in. We're gonna do
Arachova.
what she said.
We know how to say this one, we think.
So we're gonna go into Arachova, and we're gonna check the town out a little bit, do some shopping, and some relaxing back at the hotel.
Something we love to do when we travel is to go to the supermarket, and we love the Lidls in Europe. In fact, we've possibly been to a few. The ones here in Greece have an amazing donut dispensing system. How's it work? I feel like I'm playing one of those games. It's like an amusement park game, except that you win a donut. While we were there, we also discovered a Euro 70 bottle of wine, and we figured, why not?
So we got this bottle of wine home thinking, you know, expectations were pretty low. €1.70, remember? And we got it home and it smelled a little interesting and tasted a little interesting as well. And I was thinking, well, it's €1.70, what do you expect? It turns out that this variety of wine called Retsina is a long time and very popular Greek wine. It goes back about 2,000 years. They needed to preserve their wine, and they did this by closing their containers with pine resin. And that pine resin imparts some of the flavor from it into the wine, and that's actually what we were tasting, and it wasn't the Euro 70. And going back a couple thousand years, when the Romans were conquering Greece around 100 AD, they were plundering the wines as, you know, plunderers do. And so the Greeks decided, hey, what if we put some of this pine resin sealing all of our wine? And it turns out the Romans didn't like that taste very much, and so the Greeks were able to continue enjoying their wine while being plundered. So here we go. We're gonna sample.
Cheers. Salute.
Salud. No, you don't. We're really classing it up here, I know. So it turned out we also brought a fish dish home the other night, and I had read this was very good with fish, or maybe it was smoked fish. But anyway, it was actually really good with the smoked fish that we had brought home. So I'd actually recommend trying it. Retsina wine. Cheers.
We alluded to this earlier today, that we had a great story from last night. We arrived at our hotel, and our hotelier had a recommendation for a dinner last night, and we had gotten kind of late and we didn't want to look at Google, and so we just took his recommendation. We checked it real quick on Google, saw it was well reviewed, and we headed there. We didn't really know what to expect. We just heard it was fantastic. And
4.9 stars on Google also.
it was such a great experience. It was so unique. We arrived there and they didn't have any tables, but they made space for us, which we were very grateful for. The chef himself is the one who made the decision to make room for us. And once we sat down, he's the one who came out to talk about the menu with us and what's in season and what we might like. It was a variety of small plates, and the first things we were brought.
When Heather says menu, she's really exaggerating a little bit. We never looked at a card menu. It was really just what the cook and owner, or the chef and owner, was describing for us.
So he made recommendations based on things we said we liked, which we're not picky eaters. So the world was our oyster, though we did not have oysters last night. And we have some photos that we've been sharing, but we did not take any video because we had decided we were done filming for the day. And sometimes you're just in the moment, and taking out the camera just takes away from that. So instead we have to just be satisfied with telling you about this amazing meal that we had. He brought out 3 fantastic dishes to start with. They were all vegetarian, which was really nice because we have had a lot of meat and chicken so far on this trip. And the first thing that he brought us was this delightful tomato soup with this pasta that he kept describing to us. It was made from wheat and butter and egg, and then it was put into this tomato soup, and it was delicious, unlike other tomato soups we've had. The second course was...
Now we have to remember.
The second course
salad, right.
was this salad of wilted greens that were then pan-fried in olive oil, and they're just wild greens that grow, and they can only be harvested 2 months out of the year. So we really felt that it was a special experience. And then the third initial dish that we were brought was this amazing eggplant dish with pureed fava beans on top of it. So it was incredible. We thanked the chef profusely. It was something that could have been in a Michelin star restaurant, which we have been to a couple, so we say that with a little bit of ability to make a comparison. This guy is fantastic. We are sharing his information below. So if you ever come to Arachova in Greece, you have to come to this restaurant. Don't look at the menu, just sit down and talk to the chef, and just don't hesitate. You'll have a fantastic experience, and you can come back and thank us.
And it wasn't even expensive after basically 4 courses. Heather didn't talk about the main course, but anyway, after 4 courses, I think it was 44 euros, which is just a little bit more than your average tavern or taverna here in Greece. Very, very, very reasonable, especially for the quality and the attention that we were given by the chef. It was just amazing.
So if you can't tell, we were very excited about it. Go there, come back, tell us about it. We hope you enjoy it as much as we did.